Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Shop Still Podcast, a podcast for woodworkers and the maker community in general. This is episode number 26. My name is Robin Lewis from robinlewismakes.com. I'm joined by Joey Chalk from King Post Timberworks.
Hello.
And Jordan Crawford from Periodic Furniture Studio. We live stream the recording on YouTube every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or UTC plus 10, or you can watch or listen to it later on YouTube, iTunes, or SoundCloud. I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. We'll get to your comments towards the end of the show, but feel free to chat amongst yourselves. The idea being that this is also a place for people to meet. Sorry, Jordan, I didn't give you a chance there to say hello. I just kind of ran straight over you.
Yeah, I missed one episode and I'm out of the loop. That's it.
So for those of you who didn't catch last week, Jordan wasn't here, had a bit of a killer migraine, but you're all fit and healthy now?
Oh, I'm healthy. I wouldn't say I'm fit.
It's good to have you back on the show. All right, so no real announcements this week. It's been a pretty quiet week in terms of where the podcast has been, which is fine. After our trip to Queensland, it was nice to have a quiet one. So what we thought we were going to do today, last week we officially started the Discord server, and over the last 7 days, it's been pretty active. There's been a few people on there talking, and what we decided to do is create a section for podcast topic ideas. So if you listen to the show and you want to, put forward an idea or a question that you want answered, you can go onto the Discord server and leave it there if you are using it. Obviously, you can still message us in all the other ways, but if you're on the Discord server, there's a section there for that. So what we thought we'd do today is go through a couple of the questions and comments that have been left and just see where the show goes from there, because we've got 3 of them. And
I completely forgot about it, and you were meant to send me some link or some such, but I was definitely keen to actually jump in there.
So for those,
I'm enjoying it. It's quite a fun little thing. Like I'm just hopping on probably 2 to 3 times a day and just checking it out. Okay, cool. It's been good fun. I like it.
So if you are watching this on YouTube, there is a link down below, or there will be a link down below to it. Just go check it out. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's very much it's passive chat, and if you're into that, that's cool. So yeah.
And I think once a few more people get on and just more talking poo, it'll be great.
Yeah, and that's it. It's not meant to be anything hardcore or aggressive. It's just general banter about the workshop. Someone was saying on there that they weren't sure if they could talk about certain topics, and I just said it's fair game. I think CNC was the topic, and I just said go for it. That's fine. Obviously, as I said to him, if we start talking about your favorite pork recipe, then maybe we'll rein it in. But for the most part, it's anything's good. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Okay, so the first one we had was...
hey, wait, stop this.
What are we working on?
What are you working on?
Sorry, I've had a day, guys. So I'm all over the place.
You're jumping the gun, man.
Yeah, all right. So, of course, before we get on to that, we're going to talk about what we've been working on. So, Joey, what have you been working on this week?
I feel like saying nothing now, just... I just finished my bench seats, just put the video up a couple of hours ago, so it's good to have them done. I was a bit surprised. I think that's the first under 10-minute video I've ever made, so that was nice that it only took like 30 seconds to upload.
Would be good.
Yep. I'm doing
with that design at the moment. If I may ask, you've done the cross frame, and then the brace on the top is wider than the actual seat.
Right.
I find it interesting. I don't think it's bad, but is that a choice or a you choice?
It is firstly practical in that the plank width from the existing bench seat is only 280 or something wide, right. And it's just not wide enough to have, well, in my opinion, whenever I've been on a bench seat at a camp or whatever, and say people would make them 300 wide, and the legs would be squared down from the bench seat 300 wide, and they're just not stable. Like you can tip them over so easily. So if you were to make, especially in an X frame design, generally, like if you made X legs for a table, they're narrower than the tabletop, and generally you would do it narrower than the seat, and then you're getting down to like 250 mil width, and it's going to be like balancing on a stick. It's just ridiculous. So I thought, well, bugger it, let's just make the frame bigger. And I drew it, and I thought, well, that's interesting, and kind of worked out the joinery. I was like, okay, it will work. Sent the pictures to the client, and he said, do it. So it's like, all right, cool. Let's do it. Let's give it a crack.
Because that little bit that sticks out on either end, kind of limits the length of it.
I suppose.
Or was that never really a concern on their part?
I don't think it would be like. I don't believe if you wanted to put 3 people on that, you could probably even squeeze 4 people, I suppose. But I don't think that's you're going to want to have to sit inside those little pieces. I think you could quite comfortably straddle it.
And I guess it's not really a
because your butt's on the plank.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to sit on that little 50 by 50 piece, whatever it is.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's fair enough. So they would sort of be straight through the center.
It's just going to be just between your legs. So I really don't see that as being an issue. The placement of the legs was quite specific because those bench seats are going with that extension table I made a couple of weeks ago, and the legs have got to be in the right place where you can push the bench seat under the table when it's in both positions, short and long.
Yeah.
So it can't bind on the legs either way. So the legs, you've got like 120 mil sweet spot for where the legs can be. So that's why it was.
Yeah. And I left a comment on the video about finishing the top before. What? What happened?
No, man. People don't tell me these things when I'm doing it. Like it would have been way easier to finish it before I screwed it on. I just wanted to get them finished because they were annoying me. And
that's why I wondered if something had happened that had just caused you just had to blitz through it.
Well, I built the legs wrong for a start, so I spent a whole day doing 8 sets of legs. So
and you said, and then they were wrong, and I was waiting for, but I could fix. Nope, just throw them in the trash.
They're still sitting there. I'll probably do something with them. Who knows? But anyway, I've been doing a whole bunch of quotes, but with a couple of clients holding me up again. I've still got this walnut shop counter sitting around in the workshop. The guy is just not emailing me, so I've since emailed him and said, look, I'm going to start charging you just kind of storage fee. And so now he's come back finally and said, just do it whenever you want. So I'm like, what does that mean? So yeah, it's a really slow process about just trying to get that thing. I imagine what's happened is he's decided he doesn't have the money to finish paying me, so he's trying to stall. So that's always fun. I don't know if you remember, I did a what they call it, the random door video. It's like a entry set of doors, and it's just like blocks of cedar all over the randomly. So that guy, I priced up a bunch of work for him and didn't come through, but he's just called me, I think, earlier today and wants to go ahead with some other bits and pieces. So hopefully that is going to include a large set of front entry gates to his house. So it's a span of 4.2 meters. So it's going to be interesting.
The all timber, or you have like a steel frame manufactured?
He wants all timber with just some like aluminium kind of posts, I guess you'd call them, just as decoration, really.
Right.
So we're looking at like using 200 by 65 cedar, solid cedar.
Yeah, some big hinges.
Some big hinges.
Big hinges.
And is it going to be automated gates or?
Well, that was the plan originally, and I think he's since running out of money quite fast. So it may be that he's going to spend a little more than he wanted to on the actual gate build, but my price would include hanging the gates, and then he doesn't have to fork out whatever it might be. I imagine 3,000-4,000 extra to automate something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because when you're spending that type of money on a gate, you would think, well, automated would be par for the course, and it sounds like it's going to weigh a ton, you know, as well. Not that that's an issue, but just
a traction spring, and you'll be right. You can pull it from his car window.
That's what I reckon. I've got to pay someone to stand at the gatehouse.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So that's pretty much me for the week.
Cool.
Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, this week I've not been doing a huge amount because I've had the project I was planning on has been delayed because whatever reason, I think like maybe house isn't ready or something, not sure. So I've just been renovating my showroom and knocking out walls and kind of making stuff look pretty while doing as many small jobs as I can so I can still, you know, pay rent and all that. But it's like I was saying before the show that these small jobs and small dollar clients are proving to be the most difficult ones I have. Like I did a job yesterday, which didn't even end up happening, which was a laser cut. You know, on like cappuccinos, you do the dusting of the chocolate on the cappuccino. Well, they wanted this is for the Toyota dealership. They wanted a Toyota symbol put on the dusting. And I said, I can, do that. No worries. Just I'll download the logo and I'll cut it out. But things don't float in the middle of, you know, nothing. It doesn't just suspend itself. So you'll have to have the logo inverted. So the logo is just white milk and the rest is chocolate. And I sent an image of it and I sent a sample image of, you know, what I mean. And I said, this is the only way I can do it. If you're interested, let me know. I'll send the official quote. And he said, 100% interested. I can come down today and do it. And I said, oh, God, today? Okay, I'll get onto it right away. So I stopped what I was doing. I set up the laser and he came to my workshop and I showed him the prototype I did because I just wanted to make sure it worked so you'd get the hell out of my workshop as fast as possible. And he was like, oh, no, we need the logo to be chocolate. So, well, I explained to you that I can't. Because otherwise you're going to have all this supporting bars and it's not going to look like a Toyota logo anymore. It's going to look like a bunch of stupid squiggles.
They didn't want what? Did they say something about any supporting bars, or you were just like?
I was just telling him it's the only way I can do it. And then he didn't quite comprehend what I was saying. So I said, look, come into my office, look at my computer. I'll show you what I mean. And this is where I trapped myself because I brought up the design file and I started adding all the support pieces that I would need just so I could show him how stupid it would look. Yeah. And then he's like, well, what if we start putting, instead of that, what if we do this? I'm like, no, shit doesn't float. It has to be supported. And it was just like back and forth. And he was here for over an hour, I'd say. And then he said, what if we do, and I said, the only other thing I can think of is that we do hundreds of perforated holes. But for the size logo that you want, those holes are going to be too small for the chocolate to fall through, so it's not worth it. And I ended up, this is the first time I've ever told someone to get out. I did it politely, but I said to him, look, this is a $40 part that I've quoted. I am not, like, my overheads here are $320 a day. $40 is F all. Yeah. And if you expect me to put any more work into this than I have, the price is going up. I'm not trying to be rude. It's just, $92 is my first hour rate, and you've been here for an hour and a half and you've mucked me around. And then at the end of that, he's like, yeah, I understand. Can I take the prototype and show my boss? And I said, no, just get the hell out. I'm not doing that. So it was just the biggest pain in the butt. I mean, admittedly, I was only doing like showroom renovation, so he wasn't stopping me from doing a big build, but still, it's annoying.
Yeah.
And then that's one hell client, and that was just nothing. And the other client, it feels like I'm trying to like chase a job because he has so many questions. It's about a long grain chopping board that hooks over the edge of a countertop. So it's just a L shape, right? Super easy. But it's just everything has to be spelt out to him. which is not a bad thing. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm happy to explain things to like a customer when they come through. But this is, I spoke to him on the phone, then I sent through the quote for an end grain board and a long grain board, and the two different prices. And I explained to him that if you want to glue this onto the counter, probably would stay away from end grain because it will act like a sponge, and if moisture does soak up under there, it's just gonna turn bad real quick. And then it's been like 6 days of emailing back and forth explaining what the difference is between long grain and face grain, and it's like edge grain and face grain, and so there is no difference. It's just I glue it up on edge so it's more stable for you. Oh, okay, no worries. What color is it going to be? Attached to my first email is the sample image of what I've quoted, but I can make it out of anything you want. Just be aware the price might change. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work for us because we have jarrett in our kitchen. I can do jarrett. That's not an issue. And it's just like back and forth. And how thick do you want to make the lip? So, well, I can make that lip as thick as you want or as thin as you want.
The lip to be.
You've provided a drawing that you want and it says it's 20 mil, so I will make it 20 mil. If you want it 50 mil, I'll make it 50 mil. If you want it 2 mil, I will make it 2 mil. And it's just going back and forth for this $375 job. And like at this stage, it's just not worth anymore. And I said in my email to him today, it's like, look, if you want to come down to the showroom, I'm happy to talk all things chopping boards with you, but just, let me know, because I'm just...
It sounds like I probably would have picked up the phone a bit. I don't like usually calling for that kind of thing because I like having written records of things.
That's right.
That sounds like a phone call probably could have helped the situation by like half the amount of emails, perhaps.
Well, the thing is, I started on the phone with him and he was getting very confused. Right. So then I went, he's not, I don't think he's a native English speaker as well, which doesn't help when going. But like in the emails, I could attach diagrams and stuff,
pictures
to help support it. But either way, I mean, I don't even know if I've got this job either. Like I might have spent, he hasn't said yes. It's just he's still deciding on which board he wants.
Well, it's definitely probably worth it. I'm not doing any more until I see some cash.
That's basically where I'm at, is when I say you can come to the showroom and do it, but there's no more sit down and spend any hours on it, because it's just, it's not even $500. It's just, it's a bit of a joke. But, it's just been a week of that for me, and I won't go on any further about other complaints because it's going to take all day. But yeah, let's say that's me, even though it's many more than that.
That's funny.
I just see in the chat, Leah said, never, I assume it's do custom products under $500.
Yeah, I'm learning that very quickly.
Maybe that's a good rule. Although I guess at the same time, it's that Toyota logo was supposed to have been so short, so you just get sucked in.
That's the thing. Like the laser projects are meant to be just quick. I charge $1.30 a minute of laser cut time and a $30 setup fee. So whatever it is, it's just quick little bit of money, and then it just turned into this stupid caper as well. So good stuff. Good stuff. What about you, Robin?
So the bathroom's finally coming to fruition. It feels like I'm on the home stretch. I did the silicon yesterday, so the grouting's done, silicon's done. That's just a job that I don't think I'm ever going to get. And I remember when I was at my old place, my neighbor, who's a builder of decades, said to me, "Don't even waste your time with the silicon. I'll call my silicon guy in, and he'll take care of it." And I thought this time I was like, no, I've learned some stuff. I'll give it a go. I did one corner with the masking tape, I'll give it a go. Did one corner. It worked great. I was like, okay, cool. This is good. This is going well. Did a few bits at one time, and within 10 minutes, the bloody silicon had skinned over. So I pulled up the...
so hot where you are. So.
Yeah, but not thinking. Pulled up the masking tape, and I just had this sheet of thin silicon come up with the tape. No. And I just said, this is like, I'm like half an hour into this and it's just destroyed. I had to pull it all out, start again.
I'd never mask. I will never mask with silicon. It's just too much.
Yeah, so after that I gave up, and what I found worked better was you pump a small bit into the corner.
Soapy finger.
Or I was using a stick.
Oh yeah.
Do it like that. Then take a razor blade and then scrape the edges, so you can get that nice,
Okay.
Crisp line. Yeah.
which worked. It looks great. But the problem is now when I look in my in the bathroom, there's just this like sheen of silicon everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it was white, I couldn't see it at the time.
Yeah.
So now every time I go up there and I've got nothing to do, I'll just go around with a blade and just scrape off so just another silicon disaster. But anyway, it's all waterproofed, so we can prop a bath in there now. The plumber's supposed to be coming around tomorrow to hook up the waste properly, put on all the fixtures and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Did all the trim, all the windows are in. So basically, we just got to put up a shower curtain, and then it's a functioning bathroom. Like I still don't have the vanity in, haven't done the toilet yet, but
It works as a cleaning area.
showers in. That's the main thing. That was the end goal. Still got to do doors as well. Anyway, while we're talking about this, I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. A corner shower rail, 90-degree L bend. Would you? Do you think you absolutely have to support the middle, the point?
The amount of hotel rooms I've been in where it's been ripped down and you can see where they've tried to repair it would suggest yes. But I
would say the answer to your question is probably no, but there's some conditions. It has to be a well-made bar, and you have to be fixing it to something solid. So the flange on the end of the bar needs to be well welded on, and the bar itself needs to be fairly stiff. And then it will essentially cantilever itself, hold itself in place.
So it's going into the window.
The weight of the water on the shower curtain can get pretty heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going into the window. It's going to be going into the window trim, which is a hardwood. It's only 20 mil, but it's a hardwood. So, and obviously you've got more timber behind that. So it's going to be solid fixing. But as you say, if once it's covered in water, it's going to be pretty heavy.
But I would say put it up, and then if it gets a bit floppy, put a stick, put some kind of thingy-bob up to hold it up to the ceiling.
So the reason I don't want to go that route is because of the sizing and where the windows are. If I'm standing in the shower, I've got a window right next to the bath. So it's about 750 from the wall to there, which is about the size of, the width of a bath. And then on this side, it's about 1,200 to the window. So technically you shouldn't be putting in a shower there, but I'm trying to make it work. So if I put the support in the middle, that means I need 2 curtains. And then that second curtain is going to basically sit, if you think about the wall, it's going to be sitting in the middle of the wall on one end. And it's just going to look, so awful.
They have, I don't know if they make them for like showers and wet areas, but the 90-degree wraparound curtain rods where it has like the rollers inside of the bar, and then you could, and you could, I don't know if they make them for wet areas. It could be a disaster waiting to happen, but that's an option for.
I've tried to find them, but I just can't. And I can only imagine it's because this is something so simple. It's it's just a shower curtain. So
if only you knew someone who could come up with a plan and make it yourself, it would be a good idea.
I know Matthias Wandel, he's done a...
he does it with bent nails.
Yeah.
That's right. I was trying to remember what he did. Yeah.
That's all timber.
Tell you what, I'm doing small paying jobs at the moment. I'll take it on. I'll do it for you. Why not?
Look, Jordan, it's only going to be about an hour's worth of work. But we may need to have about 400 emails exchanged before we actually go forward.
It'll take me 2 months before I get to start the deposit.
So I'll probably just give it a crack with the rail that I can get, and if it doesn't work, well, we'll cross that bridge then. So that's pretty much been it. And the other cool thing, my neighbors. I woke up this morning at about 5:30 with the sound of trucks and flashing lights all outside. My neighbor's just had it's an old Queenslander, moved onto his block.
Oh, cool.
and they got here at like about 5:30.
Mm.
These two massive trucks, road cut off on either end. Luckily, we have a nice big road, and they backed these in. It's just really interesting to watch. So now, my neighbor's yard is gone. It's just two gigantic trucks with two halves of a house. Tomorrow they come and lift it up. They're going up 3 meters. Lift it and join it, and then on Saturday they pour the stumps. So it's super interesting to watch how they do all this.
Yeah, I always every time I go to Queensland, I drive around and see all these houses for sale and wonder how they do it. So you're seeing it firsthand. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and you, I took a look around, and it's like someone's just taken a big sword and just gone straight through it, straight through. Yeah,
just a chainsaw, and they usually cut it in the most awful places to join it back together because they don't care. They just cut through.
They just want it to fit on a truck. Yeah,
right through the middle of windows, through the middle of doors. Just you name it, they go through it.
I wonder if it ends up that much cheaper by the end of it with transport.
I don't think it does, especially by the time you have to renovate. It's much more expensive to renovate an old building than to build new. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And cyclone upgrade. He got quoted 70 grand from someone to do all the cyclone upgrades, which he said is almost the price of the house.
Yeah, you might as well just build new.
Yeah. I've always thought the idea is very romantic, but just listening to him. And then on the other side, my other neighbors, they are about to start building, and they're building a Queenslander from scratch. So it's going to be interesting to see. Because
I think I imagine they'll beat them.
Yeah. So very, very interesting stuff. Okay, so good thing I remembered to do what we're doing this week before we got.
Now we go on to the topics, right?
Yeah. All right. So the first one was from, and I thought we'd start off with this because this is something that I know all three of us have fairly strong feelings on. It's from someone called Dion, and Dion has said it's been covered on a couple other podcasts. I can't remember if you guys have talked about it, but I was curious of your opinions on live edge river tables. Do you like them, hate them, think they're overdone, or have an opinion on them?
Way overdone.
So, George, I was about to say, George, you've probably had the most vocal opinion out of the three of us. So I'll let you go first.
I hate them. I used to like them. The original, but I'm not going to say Greg Klassen was the original, but here's the original as far as I'm concerned with the glass inserts. I still think they have their place. I think they're a little bit same and kind of bored of them now, but I still appreciate the craftsmanship that goes into it. But these stupid epoxy things, I used to like them, but they're just been done to death. And I'm sure it's because Ecopoxy or whatever it is has sent gallons and gallons out to everyone and said, here, make one of these. And then everyone just jumped on the same bandwagon. But they're done to death. I had slabs waiting to make one for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And now I'm not going to do it.
But what don't you like about the epoxy? I mean, why is the epoxy bad? Surely it's an elegant solution to your DIY.
Yeah, but it's so expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
$600.
Yeah, sorry.
I agree that it's expensive, but why? I think, Robin, did you say why use epoxy? It's like saying, when you think about what it is, it's just plastic. I mean, it's like building a solid oak table and then saying, well, I'm just going to put a strip of MDF down the middle and it's going to look really cool.
Yeah. No, I'm with you guys. I'm purely playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What is so bad about using epoxy?
Why would I fill this awesome piece of wood with plastic for one? Mm-hmm. Glass looks classy at least. It's got some
and it won't.
And it's got some depth and
Like UV damage with epoxy, it doesn't matter what they say. There is no such thing as a UV-proof epoxy. If that gets any sunlight on it at all, it will go yellow and then go brittle and then crack, and it will just look like crap within 5 years. Yeah. Whereas with glass, it will at least look as good as it did the day you bought it, as long as you maintain it.
I'd be interesting to find out from anyone possibly in the chat or someone who's listening to this, let us know, what's the lifespan of that? if you brace it up with rails, obviously I guess it's going to last forever. But if you were to do something like hairpin legs, surely that epoxy is just going to sag over time.
I don't know that the epoxy would sag, but I think so the actual keying in of the epoxy into the live edge, I mean, obviously all live edges are different, and if you've got a really gnarly piece with lots of ins and outs, you're going to get some good keying in. But sometimes you get an edge of like a gum tree when the bark's off. You've just got a smooth, round surface, and there's pretty much no keying in happening. It's just the epoxy poured up to it, and there's not a heck of a lot.
Yeah,
because they don't actually, as far as I know, they don't say the stuff is glue, like epoxy glue. They're just saying it's like an epoxy filler.
That's right.
That's
and
true.
it's not necessarily actually gluing these things together. It's just filling the void, which is what it's meant to do.
Yeah. So Gareth in the chat has just said that the Wood Whisperer says that they're crap. I didn't realize. I thought he was pro them. I didn't realize he was against. Well, not against them.
I can't remember his stance. Yeah.
No. And
I know they've just done it in the guild, which is odd.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I mean, if people like it, you give them the demand.
Yeah.
Like if someone came to me and said, "Would you make one of these?" I'd say, "Well, yeah."
Get out.
But be prepared
I don't think I would be.
an unhappy woodworker.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that, Joe?
I wouldn't make an epoxy one. I would say I'll make a glass one at best. I'm not touching epoxy.
I have got a concept that I want to do, which is where I started with this whole concept of making a river table. And I still will probably do it because it incorporates more than just clear resin. But I don't want to say too much because someone will steal it. I'm looking at you, Robin.
I think, from my perspective, my biggest issue with it is it's an extremely stylized look, and those sort of looks date. And in a couple of years, it's not. I think you're going to get this like a river table fatigue where people are going to hate it. It's not that they're going to, it's not that they're going to just not particularly like it anymore. They're going to hate it because of how it was shoved in everyone's face. So
what I think will date more than anything is probably the faux river green and putting flecks of metallic fleck and stuff. It's just gonna look so 80s gross, like overdone in about 1 year. It's gonna be terrible.
It reminds me of, you remember those cups that you get with as kids, which were filled with the glitter. There was a plastic
and you could turn it upside down,
and it was filled with glitter and all the that's it. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So Dion, in response to your question, I don't think this is a river table podcast by any stretch of the imagination.
Actually, see on Instagram, I think what's his name, DW someone. Canadian guy, I forget his name. He was big on YouTube. Anyway, he made a mini river table fidget spinner.
That's amazing. Actually, talking about that, I saw someone did a live, I don't know if it's a river edge, but a river spoon carving.
Mm-hmm.
So they've made the spoon, and through the center is the epoxy river.
Okay,
kind of cool.
So place your bets. What's the next thing that's going to get a river through it?
How about chairs?
Yeah.
I've seen a chair with a river back. So I have
that will work.
That looks cool.
Yeah.
I will admit that. But
So Jeff in the comments has just said epoxy pen blanks can be cool, which I agree because I don't know. There's an elegance about a pen. It's not a gigantic strip of, as Joey says, plastic. Yeah. There's some more elegance about it.
Oh, epoxy has its place, especially in like jewelry and all that sort of stuff. It looks amazing. It's just I don't want it in a big table. That's my.
Kathy in the chat just brought up something that I was thinking about earlier as well. That the cost of the epoxy, like you were saying, Jordan, outweighs by far the time and cost to just make a wooden tabletop. Totally. And if you're going out to specifically make in a river table, then fine. But if you just happen to have a couple of slabs and want to make a table and go, oh, geez, the only thing I can do is put epoxy down the middle. I mean, that's really not the easy option. The easy option is actually jointing those bits of wood and making a slightly narrower table.
Was the original idea to utilize the slab better? I always just assumed that it was only ever for the look.
The first time I saw it, I thought it was a really great way of having a live edge table without having the live edge on the operator's side.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great idea when I first saw it. It's been done to death, and I don't think it's improved with age. I think it's aging faster than it should be.
Someone needs to do like
ones.
Sorry, you go, Jay.
Okay,
you go.
I think the glass ones will age much better.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I'm just referring to epoxy only.
Yeah.
Someone needs to do a test where they can make the widest river table. Let's see how far we can take this, where it's like a meter of epoxy and then
20 mil strip of wood.
20 mil strip of wood. Yeah. All right, enough of that. Let's move on. Leroy wanted to know, what's the worst thing you've been convinced to build, fix, make by friends or family and immediately regretted it? Now, this was in reference to a picture or a story that Leroy put up on the Discord server about a friend of his who had tried to do some hardwood flooring with zero experience, and apparently he just destroyed it.
Hardwood's in inverted commas too, by the way.
Oh, okay, yeah. And he's called up, this guy's wife has called up Leroy and said, please come fix it. He's being stubborn. He's just ruining it. Please come out and can you fix it? So, I think the one thing that comes to mind is I was asked by family to build a post box to sit on top of their wooden fence. And the most frustrating thing about it for me was the cost, because they wanted to keep it as cheap as possible as family. So, there wasn't actually money exchanging hands, but they just said, don't spend anything on it. So everything was your cheap treated pine. It would have been so nice if I could have used some decent hardwoods, because in my mind, it was a fairly big post box, and the roof I wanted to do wooden shingles, but
right.
you couldn't do it with the softwoods. It just didn't work as well. And it got up to that point in the project and thought, this could have just been so much more. Yeah. How about you, Joe?
Didn't it fall apart or anything though?
No, it's still going today. But and this is the problem: is it's all bent and stuff, and it's gone grey, which I guess you can argue is a look, but it could have looked magnificent if it was done with a nice red gum, like a red roof, strips of that.
So I struggled a bit to come up with something immediately. I think I've talked before about a job where a client really wanted this kind of TV unit, and I just hated the look of it. The whole design was awful. I made it. I hated every second of making it, and it dragged out because I hated making it. But they loved it, as far as I know. Everything about it was terrible, though. The finish they wanted was all distressed, and they had elements from like 6 different centuries of decoration. Like it just did not work. Like it was just a terrible thing. But I don't regret it because they like it. So, and I got paid for it. So I suppose that's not bad. But it got me thinking. I think this is the very first commission piece from somebody who I had no idea who it was. Absolutely no relation, no friend of a friend. It was a straight up random person. This guy wanted a display unit for his brand new shop selling mobile phone bits and pieces. And I regretted immediately accepting the job because I had no clue how to make this thing. It was going to be a triangular kind of display case to sit in the corner of a shop, glass fronted. It had to hold a TV, and the glass had to be blue, and it had to have hidden locks and hidden hinges, and you had to be able to get into it because it was a storage unit as well as displaying his stuff on the TV screen. And I just thought, what have I done? I should not have said I can do this. I should have added another $1,000 onto the price of it. Like, what am I doing? But after working through it, funnily enough, I really enjoyed how the problem-solving aspect to that job. It was really interesting, just doing deep dives into hardware and just finding all these different solutions to all the problems that came up. And the job turned out awesome. I ended up painting the glass myself, which is super easy. Just spray the back, just spray paint the back of glass, and it looks mint from the other side.
Yeah.
The side you spray looks awful, but the other side looks mint through the glass.
Oh, so it was. I thought you meant it was. He wanted it blue tinted.
Well, no, yeah, he wanted it actually this specific blue, which I had to get custom made and put in cans, and then masked off the glass and had it sprayed. And a lot of work for something that was not stupendously nice looking, but a learning curve.
Cool. Is that me? Oh.
Yeah, it must be you.
I mean, this week has got a few contenders, but mine too has to be a flooring job, just like Leroy. So it was my oldest and kind of only high school acquaintance to date, friend of mine, and he's kind of useless as anything, but he gives everything a good crack. He comes from an academic background and likes the idea of doing it himself, but the minute he starts it, he instantly regrets it, and that's where I got called in. And it's not me that calls him useless, by the way. He calls himself useless, so it's not me being mean. But
you walk in the front door, and that's the first thing you say to him about his flooring job. This is terrible. You're useless.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, when he rang me and asked me if I could help, and he told me, it's click together flooring and stuff, I thought, it won't be that bad. Which room's it going in? I was just going through the bedroom. So, okay, no worries, square room, take me a couple of hours, we'll be done. But when I got there, it was all pre-used flooring, so everything already had cuts and miters and, doorway.
That is just stupid.
So picking through the piles of pre-used click-together flooring was fun, but also trying to get it to click back together was quite fun.
Yeah. It's just like they only did it once usually.
Yeah, that's right. So it was good quality. It was like Tarkett, good quality one. So at least it had that going for it. And then it wasn't just his bedroom; it was all the bedrooms. So one of the bedrooms has that corner, the corner cut. So it's like a 30-degree wall, so it was it wasn't actually a square room, so like having to scribe everything and get it there. And his doorways are steel, not wood, so I couldn't just undercut the doorways. I had to scribe and cut the laminate flooring and try and get it to slot in, and it ended up taking like 3 days.
Oh my god.
And that was like the big regret, because it was just a sham. And I mean, the only thing that had sorry,
did you say that was a free job?
Yeah, it was a free job because, he helped me out a lot. So I thought, I'll come and give him a hand, but it wasn't great. I mean, at the time, I was still working full time in another job. So it was just, a love job, not a job, but still it was a pretty big undertaking for nothing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that's got to be my instant regret job.
All right, next one. From now, the user handle is mpot. You've told me your name before, but I've completely forgotten. This is the same person that got us onto the idea of the Discord server that spoke to Jordan at the Perth Wood Show. Jordan, do you remember the name?
Oh man,
I feel so bad because as I said,
I said it in Discord. I was like, I'm so sorry, I forgot your name for the shout, hoping that he would be like, oh, no worries, man, it's Craig. But
all right, I've got this funny feeling it's Martin, but I could be wrong. Anyway,
maybe
your question was to do with woodworking courses. So this was basically in reference to the woodworking course that I recently did. Is this something that you guys would recommend people go for courses, the one-on-one, or is it is it just as beneficial to work the stuff out yourself or read books, or, you know, is there because Joey, you've obviously grown up in this industry, so you've always had a mentor to go to.
Not
Sort
as
of.
such, actually, but
No?
I mean, yeah, I suppose my dad has always been there to help with what I would say like basic or fundamental skills.
Yeah.
But when it comes to fine stuff in the workshop, Dad, it's not really his domain. Like he's a bit more rough with the type of work he does, and so
Circular saw kind of guy.
So a lot of the workshop stuff I taught myself. Yeah, I guess my opinion comes down to what you expect. Like, what did you expect, and when you went to your class, and do you feel like, I know we talked about it a bit last week. Was there a sense of I got ripped off because I didn't actually learn anything? I had fun, but but do you want to go somewhere to have fun, or do you want to go somewhere to learn? Because I struggle with that with my own classes, which I've dialed back quite a bit, because I found most people just wanted to come and walk away with a project like what you did. And that company has obviously dialed that in and said, this is all people want. They can just leave with the thing and I will do all the work. I would rather teach people knowledge, but they don't walk away with anything. So it's much harder to sell it.
Yeah. One of my main goals, and I said this in the video, was to go and meet the owner.
Right.
So 50% of my reason for being there, the money that I spent was worth it, just in that I could have a conversation with Joel. The other half of it, as someone who's never been classically taught or never been trained by someone who has a carpentry background or something, I wanted to hear what someone who was a professional, the methods that they used and the processes that they used. Right. So even though the project was simple, it was just about getting an understanding of what it's like. I mean, Joe, you've obviously got years and years and years of experience, and a lot of the stuff you've learned the right way. When we talk about, building a table and that type of thing, I talk very much, I know what you're talking about, but do I know what you're talking about?
Right.
Because I don't have that experience. And so that was the other part of it, was just learning from someone who knows exactly what they're talking about and confirming if I'm on point.
Yeah. I think I agree. Yeah. How do I say it? I think it's a good idea if the course is structured and, guarantees that you leave with what you want. So if you want to go and you want to just get a box and walk out there with a new jewelry box, then that's pretty good. But it's Brian from Sawdust Bureau, right? Brian is his name, yeah. He was saying that he has interns come through every now and again. And I think that's a much better way, if you're serious about learning skills, is to approach workshops and designers and makers and, people that are doing awesome work and say, hey, I haven't got any formal qualifications, but I'm really interested in learning and I would love to come and intern for a month or a couple of weeks or something. And then you get a really good range of different skills. You don't leave there with anything other than the skills that you learn. And that would be my kind of approach to, it would be unlikely that many people would say, yeah, come, a completely untrained, unqualified person, come into my workshop where you can literally cut every limb off your body.
Yeah.
But it's worth a shot because, someone might see that the passion is better to have someone that's passionate than it is someone that just wants, $30 an hour. So that would be my approach to learning rather than doing a course as such.
Yeah, an analogy that I can think of that really is probably makes sense to me is from a martial arts point of view, because I've a pretty extensive background in that, and you can get quite a lot of tunnel vision if you just train under one person teaching you their set of what it is. And it's actually recommended, most martial arts teachers will recommend that you actually kind of branch out a bit, not necessarily leave the club or anything, but go do a month here, go to another club, travel, try learning the same thing from someone else and seeing just the way they teach you that same thing, even though you know it inside and out. And it's true, you definitely learn something different just from the way someone else teaches or their slightly different point of view on something. And you get a much more rounded set of skills and knowledge than just sticking to like one method. So my opinion on, say, woodwork classes would be take any and all of them if they're near you or available. Just open-minded. You don't have to agree with everything that's happening, but if you're wise enough to kind of stand back and just take in what's happening and then think about it later on. Don't judge it on the spot.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty good way to put it. You go, Jordan.
I was just going to add one thing onto that, which is along the same lines as what you're saying, Joey. But the other part of the question was, or would you learn by doing it yourself or something, right? That was the other part of the thing. I mean, that's a fine way of doing it, but having someone that knows what they're doing watch you, and they can see what you're doing wrong. Like saying that if you're learning your basic handsaw kind of skills and they see that your elbow isn't running parallel to your body, like you don't know that, but they can see that. So having someone that knows what they're doing and watching you try these skills will help in a long way in getting you there faster. So in that regard, they're pretty good things to do as well for technique.
Gareth has just mentioned that he was doing a TAFE course for welding and gave up because there was no one-on-one time. And if you didn't have the one-on-one time, like what you were just saying, Jord, total waste of time. You've got to be able to be picking that guy's brain. What I talked about last week was the type of glue that I've been using on my joinery and why I'm always getting a seam. Like that was so... I can't even describe how happy that made me. That was worth... the course that I did was $150, right? For half a day. That comment in itself worth $150, in my opinion.
Did he suggest an alternative glue, or did he just tell you that yours was wrong?
Yeah, no. So we were using in the course Titebond, the original, which is your yellow glue. Yeah. Yellow glues have the resins; they dry harder.
Right. Okay.
You can get them smoother.
I do remember that now. Sorry.
And that's, you would never, that's something that you might never pick up. So there were a couple of things as well. I can't remember what they all were, but that's the type of reason, that's the other reason you go there. Making a box is simple, but those tips and tricks, only the professionals know that. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that's all the time we got for tonight. I know there's a couple of other questions bombing in the chat. Come back next week if you can and leave them. As I say, tonight, unfortunately, we've just run a bit short on time.
Or leave them on our Discord chat if you join that.
Or email us or Facebook us and leave them, so we can sort of plan them into the show. That'll work too.
Yeah.
Cool. So before I forget, what's everyone watching? Joey, how about you go first?
Neil, you still around? Watching Neil from Pask Makes. He just released what's that thing called? Duristivus? Is that what it is? That's it. So Neil was given the the torch, so to speak, which was the Durista ice pick. He did some cool stuff with it.
It was really cool.
That's a really cool video, actually. And so, go watch that.
What's even cooler is that we got to hold on to that while we were visiting him. So
yes, I touched it with my hands.
Yeah, I feel a connection to that video.
Yeah, I saw the prototypes.
Yeah, I better be in the credits there, Neil.
Yeah, that was quite interesting to see it actually coming together after standing in Neil's workshop. And at the time, Neil wasn't really sure where he was going to go with it. So I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I think it looked great. Me, who was I? Colin Furs, that's the name. He's just, I mean, I'm sure you've probably heard of him. He's got like 5 million subscribers. I don't know how I didn't know of him for so long, but he's just
I
literally
can expand out about him.
crazy inventor is the only way I can explain. I've been watching his videos for the whole week. Like, he made magnetic boots so he could walk on the ceiling, and it's just like the funniest thing watching him fall on his head. But the video I've submitted is his Christmas dinner centrifuge turkey cooker, where he like injects a turkey with high pressure water and spins it around at high speed, and it's kind of funny. And like, you know, he gets cool things on. He did that video, and then his follow-up was actually with Jamie Oliver, the real Jamie Oliver, which is, I love it. So yeah, go check him out.
I watched those videos, and then I just kept clicking his videos. The next one,
it's ridiculous.
The next one was actually Jamie Oliver had him on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then, seriously, I've watched probably 10 of his videos today. So
yeah, it's easy to do. So do be prepared to lose the afternoon.
That's the bunker that he made in his backyard. That's been my favorite series. That was so cool. He is the perfect example of content over. We've talked about this in the past. As YouTubers, do you release more often or do you improve your content? He's the perfect example, because he's actually his skill is amazing. Like, you look at all his welds.
He's just a plumber. Like, that's his only qualification, and everything else is self-taught. It's insane.
And he's such a skilled craftsman.
Yeah, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, he's very cool, and I just dig watching him. He always has a lot of fun
and high energy. Like, you know, you leave a video feeling good, which is always nice.
So for me this week, it was the new Modern Builds video. Mike made a bed, and it was a pretty simple video. But the reason I liked it was I've wanted to tackle a bed for so long, and while there's a lot of videos out there, it does seem like there's a fair, you know, there's a few moving parts that you don't really want to mess up. You want to make sure you get it right. And because of that, I've always sort of steered clear of it a bit, because I've always felt like it's just a little bit too big for me to tackle. You know, it's all big pieces, etc., etc. Anyway, he's done this video, the simplest bed I think anyone's ever made on YouTube. It looks great, but it's so simple what he's done, and it's really made me look at it and go, wow. You know, you need to pull up your socks, Rob, because it's really not that hard. And yeah, he just made it look really easy. So if you are trying to get some inspiration, or if you want to learn how to build a bed, cool. Check it out from Modern Builds. It's
I must say the first time I got a bed commission, I was pretty daunted. Like, how am I going to tackle this? And I'm probably, I don't know, it must be somewhere up to about 20 beds I've made now, and now I just I've got a system, I've got a rhythm, I know how it works, and I actually quite like bed jobs because it's so quick.
Yeah,
there's nothing to a bed.
I wish I got more. Like,
there's nothing. It's just 4 bits of wood and some legs. You know,
they're easy. They're quick as well. Like, that's the other thing, is people perceive it as high value.
That's
but
right.
In reality, it's way faster to build than you'd think it would be. So you can. Yeah. You know, you don't overcharge, but you can leave there feeling happy with a good profit.
And the hardware too, because you obviously your side panels come off. Is the hardware quite technical?
Depends on which ones, but most of them don't even need mortises now.
The stuff I get cost me $15 for the whole set for the 4 corners.
And how does it? Is it like a plate?
It's 2 plates that meet in the corner. They just screw on, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
You can get really complicated ones where it's all hidden, but 9 times out of 10, these screw-on face mount ones are more than adequate.
Yeah, and that's where I've always clenched up. Is I look at all the different types of hardware, and you know, then your mind starts to wonder, like, what if I did this? What if I did this? Next thing, you're doing sliding dovetails, and you're like, it's just too much.
Yeah, you overthink it easily.
And I'm just going to go to Fantastic Furniture and buy it myself. So, yeah. But no, this video was super cool.
Cool.
Definitely put in perspective. All right, everyone. So all the videos that we've talked about will be in the description if you are watching this on YouTube down below. I want to say another thank you to everyone in the chat for stopping by. And as I say, if we didn't get your questions tonight, you'd feel free to shoot it to us during the week or jump on next week. We'd love to have you back. All right, so we'll see you guys again same time next Thursday, and have a good week, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.